All right, folks, Monday 3/9/15. I'm not here today because I'm hanging out with the juniors, but you have some work to do. You have the lovely Miss Katie Schoenweiss helping you out today. So listen up real quick and then we can get started. As mentioned on Friday, today you're going to be working on a project that you will then use tomorrow in class. This is going to be a group project, so you're going to need to split up into groups, looking for groups of 3 to 4. I'm going to explain what you're doing real quick and then I'll have you split up. So the basic idea of what you're going to be doing is you will be creating some sort of a target on a large poster board using different geometric shapes that we have studied, and then you're going to need to do some calculations with area and figuring out geometric probability of hitting various parts of the target. So let's go ahead and pause and split up into groups of 3 or 4 of your choosing. Make sure you choose group mates that you will work well with. So let's go ahead and pause and choose some groups. All right, now that you are in your groups of 3 to 4, Ms. Schoenweiss is going to pass out this sheet titled Target Game to you. So go ahead and grab this sheet from her and we will go over the instructions together. So that was quick, but go ahead and pause again and please pass out this worksheet. All right, now please follow along while we read through this. So for this activity, your group will be designing your own target using the geometric shapes we have worked with over the past few weeks. You will make the target on a large poster board found at the front of the classroom, and then you will also create a scale drawing on your worksheet of the full-size target that you make on the large poster board. Now, that's what you're going to be doing today, and then tomorrow you're going to be throwing Nerf balls at the targets, kind of challenging each other and see who can score the most points on their targets. But here are the guidelines. You can't just make anything you want. You should absolutely be creative. You should enjoy this. You should have fun. But you need to have these elements in your target. You need to have an oblique triangle, which means it is not a right triangle. So something that does not have a right angle. You need to have some sort of parallelogram. It could be a square, a rectangle, a rhombus, or just any regular parallelogram. Totally up to you. You need to have at least one full circle. And then in addition to the circle, you need to have some sort of a partial sector or maybe even a segment if you want to, your decision. And then a regular polygon with at least 5 sides, so we're looking for a pentagon or more. Now, you're not going to be able to perfectly draw a regular polygon, most likely, but just do your best, make it as accurate as you can, and then, just calculate based off of the actual numbers. So in addition to that, you will need to make some sort of a trapezoid as well, and then finally a kite. And those 8 elements all need to be on your poster. You can absolutely do more. You can repeat shapes, but you have to have at least those at minimum. Now, a quick warning, do not count any area twice. What I mean by that is, say this is your poster board right here, and maybe you put a giant circle in the middle like that with a triangle in the middle. Totally fine, absolutely fine, but when you're doing your area calculations, say you are calculating the area of that circle, you need to make sure and subtract the area of that triangle. Otherwise, you're going to be counting area more than once, and then your probabilities will not add up to 100%, and it will not make sense. So you can absolutely overlap shapes as much as you want. Just be careful with how you do it, because imagine if I put maybe a trapezoid like that. There's not really going to be a good way to calculate what this area is right there versus what that area is in the overlap. So just make your life easy. Don't make your overlaps too complicated, but do what you got to do. Now, after you have created all of your shapes and you have them all on there, go ahead and label them with point values. Now, you can make this pattern symmetrical. It's totally up to you, But small shapes, give them larger values. Maybe that would be a 9 right there. Bigger shapes, less values. So maybe that's a 3 right there. Maybe this is a 5 right there. But give them some sort of value, some way to award points for hitting those specific areas. Shortly, you will get a new worksheet, stapled sheet, 2 sides, front and back. And on that sheet, you're going to be actually calculating all the areas of your shapes in addition to the geometric probabilities. So we will get that shortly. But that's the main idea there. Hope you don't have any questions. Should be fairly self-explanatory. Just make those shapes, calculate your areas, and label some points on there. You get 5 points in your group just for making the poster. Make it neat, accurate, include all of those shapes, and you should be good. Now in terms of calculating the areas, just kidding, we'll get to that in a minute. So let's go ahead and pause, and now we will pass out the stapled worksheet that has the large grid on the front. All right, well, you should now have this worksheet right here. It says create a scale drawing of your target on the 30 by 25 grid below. Now, these dimensions should be the same as the dimensions of your large poster board, and this is where you're actually going to be creating those shapes. Now, my recommendation would be to use the grid as your lengths, widths, heights, whatever values to calculate the areas. So use this to make your piece more accurate. Now, for example, I could put a large rectangle up here, and as long as I go ahead and make those lines on the grid, then I can just count and figure out those lengths to calculate my areas. Now, I don't necessarily want to see that on that sheet. That's what you're going to be doing with your calculations. But the point is, use the graph paper to your advantage. If you're doing a circle, pick a center right there and then choose some sort of a radius and try and make it accurate after that. Again, you're not going to be able to make it perfect doing this freehand, but you can make it as accurate as you can. So go ahead and draw all 8 of those shapes on there, however big or small you want, and then assign some sort of point value to that area. Don't care what you do it, totally your decision, but my advice would be to start on the paper, start on this worksheet, and then once you've decided everything you want with your group, then go ahead and move that to the giant poster board. So the next page should be fairly explanatory, just actually doing your calculations. You're only working on page 1 and 2 of this 4-page worksheet today. Page 3 and 4 will be for tomorrow. So notice you get 5 points for this scale drawing, 5 points for the poster, as already mentioned, and then on the next page where you're calculating the area of each shape and then stating the geometric probability of landing in each section, you will get 15 points. And you need to make your calculations easy for me to follow. So tell me the shape you are calculating the area of, and then show me your calculation, and then move on to your next one. Box your answer, and then find me all those geometric probabilities. You have all day in class to work on this. Make your calculations accurate. They need to be correct. Make your drawings neat. I'm not looking for chicken scratch. And that should be pretty much it. So everybody in your group needs to perform their own calculations. You can absolutely work together, but every single person needs to turn in their own worksheet with their calculations, with their scale drawing, and then as a group, you need to make your poster. Make your poster nice, make it pretty. Again, not looking for sloppy work here. So posters up front, tape up front. Don't need tape today, I'm really tired, but markers in the back, so go ahead and get going. If you need anything, extra markers or anything like that, go ahead and pop over to Miss Salem's classroom and see if she can help you out, but you should be good, have fun, and I will see you on Wednesday.